Hey folks, welcome to the Workbench, and check out the latest watch that I just snagged off of eBay. Now, if you've been around, you know I've mentioned a couple times that I am a sucker for old Timex watches, and I have not mentioned before that I'm also a card-carrying Eagle Scout. Now, Timex had a very long history in making watches for the Boy Scouts of America, going back many, many decades. I had one, not this one. This one is from 1973, and what we're going to be doing in this video is taking this thing apart, cleaning it up, probably doing a case swap to a case in slightly better shape than this, and getting this thing back on the wrist. So let's take a really close look at it. If you notice here, it is ticking away, and the actual model of this was the Timex Sprite, and they made these for several years. This wasn't the only year of production here, and it is a manual wind only. It is not an automatic watch. Date window there, and this one had kind of a nickname to it. It was called the Roulette. At least that was what the dial was called in this style. Now, if we get in really close on this thing, you'll notice that this is a chrome plated case, and there is some pitting and some damage to the chrome. And then we get onto the back of it, and we'll see that there is some chrome completely missing, and right here the crown chrome is gone. So what I've decided to do was I managed to actually pick up a second one. This one is from 1975, and this one, the case is in much better shape. The crown is in somewhat better shape. We're going to try to polish up the crown a little bit without making it through the layer of chrome. I feel bad because these are both runners, and I'm going to be taking the movement and whatnot out of this one and putting it in this one, making a Boy Scout runner. I'm not going to get rid of these components. I'm going to switch them over, because the dial on this thing, actually, when we get it off, you'll see it a little bit better. It's actually a very cool dial. But right now, let's get into the disassembly of this one and this one so we can get this case cleaned up and get everything moved over. Now, we will start here by just getting the donor case open up and cleaned up. So we'll just get this watch strap off here. Now, I'm actually going to be using the, I haven't decided yet, I think I'm going to be using the kind of a stretchy band from the other one, because that is period correct for 1973. It's still a cool band, not what we would consider a current band, but cool nonetheless. It doesn't help that when these things get old, they get completely corroded and turn into one chunk of crap. Now with the stretchy band off, let's get into the case itself. Now, I have a terrible time getting cases open with case pack tools, but this one actually, look at that. It came off pretty well. So there is your classic Timex movement in there, supposedly unserviceable. You can kind of lubricate these, but that's about the best you can do. Now, to remove the stem on this little retaining ring here needs to get removed. Get that guy up out of the way. And with that retaining ring out of the way, there is the set lever that's right here, and the set lever screw there is what we need to loosen up. We're not going to take it totally out. We're going to unscrew it by about a full turn. So it's that screw right down there. Now we can lift the set lever out of the way and remove our stem. Now, so we don't lose things, we're just going to push the set lever back in place. I'm going to tighten that guy back down a little bit. Now we should be able to drop the movement right out of the watch. Now she comes. Now, you can see now kind of what I was talking about. That is a really cool kind of blue wood grain dial, and I don't want to lose that. So we're gonna do something cool with that. But right now we can put that out of the way, because what we're going to deal with now is the case back, crystal, and stem and crown. Now, I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but there are some scratches on the top of the crystal right there. And I'm going to first give it a shot with some polywatch, but I have a feeling it's going to come out better if I give this a light sand with some very high grit sandpaper. But first, let's give the polywatch a try. So I've been used polywatch before. This is just a polishing compound. Very easy to apply. Put a little dot right there on the top. And I like to just use a bare finger. Now, I know there's always a temptation to use a Dremel or something fast. I've seen people do it, and I've seen people ruin crystals that way. So just take your time, keep working it in until it dries, and then wipe it off with a clean, damp towel. And the crystal looks a lot better, but it's not perfect. And perfect is what I'm going for. There's still a little bit there, so now I have to make the decision, more polywatch or sanding sticks. And I think I'm going to go right now for just some more polywatch. I think we can do it with just that. All right, 2 rounds of polywatch. I can still clearly see the scratches I want to get rid of. So I think we are going to have to switch to using sanding sticks. So let me go grab some of those. I'll show you how we do it. So these are the sanding sticks that I use, and the higher the number, the finer the grit. So we're going to progressively work our way up, but you don't want to start that coarse. You can get these things extremely coarse, like 80. That would make this thing vanish. You don't want that. Now, we don't actually have to sand the entire thing, and these are actually more polishing than sanding. So don't think of these as sanding like you're removing a ton of material. This is almost more of a polishing stick than a sanding stick. And the biggest thing to remember when you're doing these is you want to steer clear of the case because you don't want to hit the case, and you want to always work in kind of a circular motion, not a straight motion. And as you do these, make sure you're getting all the way out to the edge of where you had previously sanded. And if you have to, actually make each sanding stick that you use, make the passes you're making a little bit bigger so you overlap those edges and don't wind up accidentally leaving a section really rough. Okay, so I think we've done enough with these sanding sticks here. When you get to the final sanding stick, you shouldn't even see roughness, you should just see haze. So the polywatch now we're going to use as a polish to polish out that haze. Okay, I don't see any of the scratches anymore. It's still a little bit hazy, but it's a lot better. So we're just going to keep going at it, little dab of polywatch at a time. So all you need is a tiny little dab. We're going to just keep working that in. So there we go. That is pretty well perfect. Now let's focus on the case and getting the little bits and pieces of this case cleaned up. We're also going to turn our attention to the case back itself. Now, something that is cool I just noticed inside the case back here is it does say Great Britain. So this one was actually made in Great Britain, which earlier Timexes were. Earlier Timexes were also made in the US. I've got a lot of other crud in here, so I think this thing is going to wind up taking a ride in the ultrasonic in a minute. Now I noticed something actually really interesting. Off camera I decided to pull the back off the Boy Scout watch, do a little bit of work on it. It's over here. And here's something interesting. These watches were made 2 years apart. The donor watch for the donor case is in 1975. The Boy Scout watch is in 1973. The Boy Scout watch was actually made in France. At least the case back was made in France. The other one, the donor watch, was made in Great Britain. If you flip them over, all of the markings are exactly the same, just made different country. So what we're going to be doing to keep this, at least the markings, as original as possible, we're going to be cleaning up the back from the Boy Scout watch, the France one. We're going to swap it over to the other one, if that makes sense. So we're going to be putting the donor watch, the Great Britain one, aside, and we're actually going to be putting this one in the ultrasonic. Now the good news is the case backs are stainless steel, so there is not a base metal underneath that I have to worry about. What we're going to do is we're going to come in here. There is a little O-ring gasket guy in here that is hard as a rock. We're going to try to get this out of here. We're just going to replace this with a brand new one. Not even going to worry about it. Because yeah, just trying to get this thing off here, it's hard as a rock and it just split. But fortunately, I got new gaskets. The other thing I noticed, doing some inspections since we're getting closer, the stem. The stem here should have a little tiny rubber O-ring in there, and it is gone. It's long gone. So this thing wasn't even close to waterproof. So we're going to get it waterproof when we put it back together. So let's get this stem, this case back, and now our freshly polished case front in the ultrasonic. Okay, so we're getting close to being able to do the final put back together of this guy. Put it off to the side though. Just want to address one thing with these. So after I run something through the ultrasonic, there is a little bit of detergent and whatnot left on them. And what I like to do, I rinse these with reverse osmosis water. It's what I have in my sink. Same stuff as like distilled water, but it means that when it dries, it'll dry without any water spots. Let's get out of the way, get all this stuff out of the way. Right now, we got to get a new little gasket, a little O-ring on the stem. And something I would advise, if you are getting into this horrible, crippling addiction, get yourself some gasket and O-ring kits. These will save you a lot of time and money. You can just buy them in bulk. So we're going to put that guy right over there. This is a little tricky. You got to work it all the way down into the crown. So with the crown done, we got to come in here and measure the back, figure out what gasket size or O-ring size this thing needs. So we're looking at about a 27.5. And also, same applies for these. You can get these things in bulk, very cheap. Cheaper than buying one at a time. Get that gasket out. Grease it. And on she goes. So now with everything greased up and resealed, we can start the reassembly process. Now, those of you with keen eyes have already noticed in this shot that I screwed up my hour hand. I bunged up the loom after I took the watch apart off camera to try to fix something, and now I guess my next video is going to be learning how to loom watches, because that's what this channel is me learning and sharing that process with you of tinkering, repairing, and collecting watches. So if you enjoy that, if you enjoy this kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button, leave me some comments down below, hit that thumbs up, all that YouTube-y stuff, and of course, thanks for watching.